My name is Mallory Feltz. I am the Director of Exhibitions and Public Art at Kennedy Heights Arts Center. I am also the curator for our exhibition, Collective Impact: Females Joining Forces. This show features past works and newly created art pieces by 7 Cincinnati-based all-female artist collectives. This exhibition showcases the diversity of mediums used to create. It highlights important women's issues and social issues that need to be discussed. And it celebrates the variety of ways in which women collaborate to amplify their voices.
Art for Artists is a group that began in 2006. This group is made up of women of all ages, predominantly over 50. We've shown at several exhibits. Art for Artists meets on a regular basis once a week. We've met for 15 years now. The population has grown and come and stayed. And this last year, I think it's really come into its own even more because we couldn't see each other to show little tiny evolutions of what we were working on. Behind us, we have the self-portraits, women in masks. So the minute we have a group theme, each individual person, the only limit is 10 by 10 inches square, mounted on a black piece of foam core, and whatever medium, technique you want to use, you can express yourself. We were just so pleased because almost like the last 2 months, it just suddenly, after a sort of a year of struggle, just everybody had it. And so it was like that nice exchange that made it such a rich experience. And I think really a beautiful presentation. We're really excited about it.
Photographers is a group of women art photographers, and we're a fairly young group as a club goes. We share together our processes, our work, and just inspire each other. This exhibit was offered to us after we had done an exhibit in the fall having to do with COVID, and we shared photos we had taken during the time of COVID, and they were projected on large screens on buildings at campsite in Camp Washington. When Kennedy Heights Arts Center invited us to do this, we were really excited because we hadn't really collaborated to do pieces of work that were based on each other's process and work. So we divided the group in half, given the amount of time we had to discuss it. And so one group chose women and money and how that has impacted us individually. Lots of discussion about that subject and new understandings. The other half of the group chose places that women weren't traditionally or historically allowed to participate in. So voting and the Masons and various types of professions. It all came together, and how it worked was really amazing. The trust of the creative process unfolded to us in our, as we presented work to each other. And we passed our work from one to another to inspire the next person's imagery.
The exhibit is both inside and outside. The inside part, first we have our personas, kind of the fun thing that we started with, our bombshells. And then we also have our manifesto, which is really important. It kind of was our silly rules of what we would do and how we would engage, and it's really been what's our driving force. The pieces that are hanging in the ceiling, one of the things we love about being in a collaborative together is that we get to try new things. And so in the ceiling, everyone tried a different technique. Everyone really jumped in and did some amazing work, so that was exciting, and things I wasn't expecting, so it was super fun. We have 2 pieces outside. One piece speaks to Stronger Together, which I think really encapsulates what a collaborative is. And then we also have the Bombshells Love Kennedy Heights Arts Center on the tree, because that's always our sort of signature we leave at a place. I think I want them just to see the joy, the fun of it, but also the technique, the skill level, the understanding that all of these people are pushing their limit of what we think of as yarn, which is a soft Afghan that we throw around. And that's something that we can also take to the street, and people aren't turned off by it because it's soft, it's very approachable. And unlike graffiti, we're not, you don't like it, you just cut it. And we don't get in trouble that way.
So this installation by Maidens of the Cosmic Body Running is an example of the kind of environment that the Maidens like to create for their viewers, for their guests. I'm standing on a rug that we made years ago and has traveled around the country a little bit, but it is emblematic of the kind of mood that we want to create for people, an invitation to come in to take your shoes off, maybe sit down or lie down and relax and enjoy the visions. The projection is a blending, a sort of a poultice of video. Maidens, what we like to do, we like to deliver video almost as a drug. It's a means of sort of slowing down and transporting and really connecting with nature in a certain way. So you see seeds beginning to sprout. You see them vibrating and growing and pushing through the dirt. But you also see the water flowing and feeding the seeds, feeding the plants, feeding the earth. So it's this interplay of different natural resources that we're calling attention to. People could engage with either projected video or sound, and to think about the delivery of images of nature rather than the actual situation in nature as that ideal state of being. So the delivery of images of nature was more desirable than actually being in the nature. And the reason for that is the distance from nature actually increases the romance, the romantic appeal. So distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Our mission at Art Hags is really based off of cultivating and really asserting space for us to create and be expressive freely as artists. This exhibition here is really about self-expression in 2020. With the pandemic and social and racial injustice happening in the world, we really had an opportunity to reflect on our own individual expression based on global event. So we both create work collaboratively, large-scale public works, community-based, but we also are a group that creates as individual artists, and the group was really formed to support individual and group efforts. The message for me about the show, and I think I speak for all Art Hags, is to assert yourself in spaces no matter what. If you feel the need, if you feel the feelings to be expressive and be honest, there's no time like the present to be honest.
Hi, I'm Anne.
I'm Sydney.
And we met in 2014, and it was instant magical friendship.
Exactly. I mean, if we want to get into details, we met at LA Fitness, but neither of us were working out.
Right.
And the short version of the story is we kind of recognized each other from being a part of other art projects and stuff in the city. And
yeah, I always saw her about town at art events. And we were, we're both involved in the arts and the community, so.
Yeah, and then she gave me a drawing.
Right.
And
it was
a drawing that I still have.
Is it on the fridge now?
It should. I need to frame it.
Oh yeah. It's a line drawing of a lady.
Was it a lady?
Or was it a man with a mustache?
It was a man with a mustache. Okay.
Yeah.
We had similar interest in performance and poetry, and we had started doing our own performances. Like we did one performance that was on the top of, I forgot what the parking deck.
It's been demolished.
The spiral parking deck that was in downtown Cincinnati that was pretty well known, but has since been demolished.
Yeah.
We did a performance up there that was like 2.5 hours long, and it was a part of
Nearby Collective,
where the audience went to the top of Crew Tower to watch the performance. And we've done a bunch of other performances and poetry stuff together, and then
I always say that Sydney is my memory because
oh yeah, that is true.
So I think that speaks to a lot of it's an underlying part of our projects together as friends.
What we have here is a mix of thinking about ritual and memory and how we turn memories into a shrine, but also
a meditation.
Objects that we are attached to that spark those memories.
And how an object can hold a history.
Then that's the connection of poetry too, because I like to think that poetry is can be snapshots of our own lives. We're good at finding humor in absolutely anything that has come our way, because we have been friends for 7 years. Yeah, for 7 years now.
So this is a marination meditation room?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also love alliteration.
As a viewer of art, you're always, in a way, still thinking about your own memory, and when you look at something, how it evokes a certain feeling or a certain place in your life or where you want to go.
Hopefully you feel the gamut of all the feelings
Right.
where
Like, what is the meaning of this grape?
you're a little sentimental for a moment,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, what's the significance of this hair comb that's been photocopied and placed on vellum paper? What does that make me think about? That makes me think about my childhood, but
Right.
it could make somebody else think about who knows what else.
The knot in their hair.
Right? Might be a lot of knots. Okay, we're gonna start going on a side tangent. We really do riff off of whatever.
Yeah.
Pool Club is a print and design studio based in Camp Washington. I run it, Chelsea Hughes, with two of my closest friends, Linda Winder and Amy Scarpello. We actually met in art school, and Pool Club kind of came from this desire and this absence of a studio environment where we were able to kind of show each other our work and talk about it. So we were like, well, why don't we have a studio? And I had always been very passionate about printmaking and screen printing, and so had Linda. And so we set that up, and then we were like, well, we like each other and we work in this space. Why don't we try and collab on some things? And then it just kind of happened organically. Pool Club was lucky to be a part of the outdoor gallery here at Kennedy Heights Arts Center. So you can actually drive right through and see all of the works. Being a collective, we've participated in different protest or social justice events where we've been able to create this kind of work. The exhibit as a whole is wonderful. Cincinnati is a great town, and I actually have worked and collaborated with many of the artists that are here. So it's a great collection of female identifying artists here in Cincinnati. So definitely come by and check out all the great work. And if you're still nervous about COVID going inside, you can just drive around the outdoor gallery here.
Thank you to the Ohio Arts Council, to ArtsWave, and to our exhibition sponsor, LASIK Plus. I'd also like to say thank you to each of the artists involved in this exhibition that made it possible. It is truly inspiring.